While the trial has been delayed to April 15th, the federal court sat these past 2 days to hear arguments from the defense team to postpone it even further. By the Malaysian Insight, this is The People versus Najib Razak.
Aras 5.
On Wednesday, former Prime Minister Najib Razak finally found himself on trial. He is facing multiple charges of corruption, money laundering, and criminal breach of trust. A far fall from grace. Almost a year ago, he was the most powerful man in the country. Since he was ousted by Pakatan Harapan's shock win in the 14th general election, he has been investigated for multiple offences, the largest of which is 1 Malaysia Development Berhad, 1 MDB. He now faces a total of 42 charges, 7 of which are related to SRC International. After a 2-month delay, the SRC trial finally began on Wednesday, April 3rd. The next trial dates have been set for April 15th to May 10th, barring any changes. Najib and his defense team have tried to postpone the case through appeals and a judicial review. For a bit of background, the SRC trial is being heard in the Kuala Lumpur High Court. It was supposed to start on February 12th. But Najib's team has 3 appeals pending in the Court of Appeal. These are, number 1, a gag order on the media and public discussing the merits of the case. Number 2, request for additional documents from the prosecution. And number 3, the withdrawal of transfer certificates for the 7 charges. On the last appeal, the defense wants the SRC case to be heard at the Sessions Court, saying it should start there, not the High Court. These appeals have caused at least 4 delays. Let me break it down for you. On January 15th, Najib asked for a postponement pending his 3 appeals. This was rejected by the High Court a week later. On February 11th, a day before the trial was supposed to start, the Court of Appeal agreed to delay the case due to the appeal against the withdrawal of transfer certificates. Then on March 12th, in a dog ate my homework moment, Najib's lawyer Shafi Abdullah asked for another delay. He claimed his pet dog jumped on him, injuring his wrist.
I've got soft tissue and blood capillaries that have been severely injured, so there's a lot of bleeding. And this swell is caused by the blood swelling around. So it gives me a pain that are quite excruciating.
It worked. The judge granted Najib another reprieve. On March 21st, the appellate court agreed to delay the trial until the federal court decides on the 3 appeals. On March 27th, the federal court lifted the stay, and the following day, the apex court set April 3rd as the first day of trial. But that wasn't the last of it. In a last-ditch effort on April 1st, Najib filed a judicial review application against the federal court's decision to lift the stay. And on the day of the trial, citing the pending judicial review, Najib's lawyers called for another postponement, which was rejected by the judge. But Shafi insisted it was not a delay tactic.
There was no attempt to postpone the case. What we did today is what all of you would have to do if you are charged with charges that are defective.
The defense also requested for later trial dates in July rather than April, citing a packed schedule. But Justice Muhammad Nazlan ruled that the case was of public importance and it should continue on April 15th while the appeals were still being heard. Again, for this to make more sense, listen to the summary of Day 1 of the trial in the first episode of this series. The Court of Appeal is expected to make a decision on Najib's 3 appeals next Wednesday, April 10th. This would determine whether the SRC trial will go on April 15th. Najib's 1MDB trial is now scheduled to begin May 14th. He faces 21 charges of money laundering and 4 charges of abuse of power. For more context and latest updates on the case, subscribe to www.themalaysianinsight.com. This podcast is produced, written and mixed by Revati Subramaniam, Yapik Kwan and Yvonne Lim. I'm Patrick Teo.